Well, good morning and welcome to the comment video for the last day of the year. It's December 31st, New Year's Eve 2024. The last day I'll be saying 2024. Maybe I'll slip up a bunch probably. And I always slip up in January with getting the year wrong. But my intent is this is the last day I'll say 2024. So, weather looks pretty darn good. The winds, I always report and I look over the next 10 days and are there any windy days. There's a couple of days where my theoretical limit for saying windy is 10 miles per hour and greater. There are a couple of days where it hits 10 for 1 hour or 2 hours. That's in like the first week of January. It's not really a big deal at all. Otherwise, winds are calm. Right now it's 39 degrees here in QUARTZSITE at 5:52 a.m. 39 degrees, and it'll be the high today. It'll be 69. That doesn't sound like a lot, but 69 in the sun in the desert, it's pretty darn warm. It's pretty comfortable. And we see temperatures for the next 10 days going between 69 and 74 degrees for high and between 40 and 46 degrees for the low. And I see one cloudy day in the next 10 days. Everything else is almost perfect, other than little tiny clouds on a few days. But the cloudy day is this Friday. It looks like it's going to be cloudy maybe for most of the day that day. Otherwise, weather conditions are pretty ideal for January, and January is a pretty exciting time. We have the big tent, but we also have the RTR, the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous. If you're not familiar with that, that was started by Bob Wells. Oh gosh, it's probably been 9 or 10 years ago, where they started with like 50 people and now a few thousand people show up for this thing. It's in the town park, it's jam-packed full of free events for nomads and travelers in the town park in QUARTZSITE in the week preceding the big tent. So the big tent starts the Saturday the 18th. That whole week before that, it starts with a couple of days of the women's Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, and then then it's open to everybody. Yours truly will be presenting the second year in a row on emotional health at the RTR. This time it'll be on Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. I'll be on a 3-person panel. So if you want to see Travels with Dottie in person, you can come to the RTR and see my presentation on emotional health. And my emotional health it talks a lot about how being a nomad and living in this lifestyle weaves into emotional health. And why aren't I saying mental health? Because I just think I like emotional health better than mental health. Because mental health, sure, we start talking about mental health day, mental health month, mental health awareness. It sounds like we're just talking about people that have some kind of diagnosis. Emotional health is something that everybody wants. We all want that. So it's more, it includes more people. Well, I'll start getting into my presentation if I keep going with that. So what I probably need to do, what do you think? I need to start reading the comments. I'm going to go with that idea. All right. Well, this takes a little bit of an explanation because there's a number of comments on here on my ride along and check out current conditions. It's just an errand, kind of an errand. I want to say post video, an errand video in QUARTZSITE. That's the most common video I do. I show the road and I talk during it. And one of the things I talked about that triggered quite a few comments was I talked about McDonald's and how, I like Big Macs, right? I get it. The McDonald's food and fast food in general is not healthy for you. So I do not indulge in fast food or specifically Big Macs very often at all. If I say if I have one Big Mac a month, that's an exaggeration. It's probably, if I really looked at the average, it would probably be, I probably have 5 or 6 Big Macs in a year. So it's a rare thing for me to do. I think, I was saying how if you Google how healthy is a Big Mac, like I say, the news articles and things that come up, you'd think you would die if you eat a Big Mac. It's almost like you're smoking the Big Mac. People say it's so bad for you. And I don't think McDonald's has ever claimed that their food is good for you. I think they tried a salad thing once, and I don't think that lasted very long. I'm a big subscriber, non-scientific. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert in nutrition, but what makes sense to me is all things in moderation. All right. So if I have a few Big Macs a year, I don't think I'm going to be really adversely affected. But this prompted a lot of people in a very positive way. I expected to get, oh, you shouldn't eat a Big Mac. I didn't get that. We'll see what you got. Katie Hoke says, love a Big Mac. No pickle, no onion, but I do like the sauce. Tina Dunaway says, I like getting a double cheeseburger made like a Mac, extra onions. It's cheaper that way. Great video. So for a few people that gave him permission to say, I know it's not cool to say this these days, but I like McDonald's hamburgers. Betty, curious of everyone that says, oh, I would never I don't do that. That's terrible. I don't do it. How does McDonald's make, $1 billion or whatever it is they make? Somebody's eating this stuff. Somebody's eating it. Betty, curious about wind direction in Q. Does it have a tendency to go a specific direction like the Santa Ana winds do, or can you recommend an app? There's an app called Windy. I paid for it for a while, but it really wasn't worth it to me. It wasn't that important for me to know that much about the wind. I prefer to park the wind to my backside. Sorry if you already touched on this. People who wear their pet hair with pride are the best. Well, thank you. And I said, hey, Betty, where I am mostly from the West. And she said, thank you so much. Now, I have people camp near me that says I'm full of hoo-hoo. I'm saying it comes from the West. So certainly there are people all over QUARTZSITE that will disagree with me. The wind does not predominantly come from the West. It comes from the Northeast, South. Everybody has a different opinion. So here's what my opinion is based on. I have a windscreen. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beach scene. It was given to me for my birthday by my friends Jim and Daryl for my birthday last year. They sell them at the Big Tent. And it billows like a sail when the wind hits it. And the back of it faces west. And most of the time when I go out there, it's billowing like a full sail, meaning predominantly the wind is coming from the west. On my camp, in my little tiny experience, it comes from the west. So don't flame me if you think I'm wrong, because it probably, in general, probably is incorrect. But at my campsite, it seems correct to me. Betty says, predictions. State line RV lots will fill up after the first. California's Advanced Clean Trucks Act regulation is set to significantly limit the sale of motorhomes in California starting in 2025. Yeah, I've heard a little bit about that, but lack of interest prevents me from knowing more about it. Sue Brown Chapin. My biggest takeaway from this video and comments so far is that I should no longer feel ashamed to ordering the occasional Big Mac. I agree, Sue Brown. I don't think you should be ashamed to order the occasional Big Mac or have an occasional donut. I think those things are just fine. And carrot cake counts as a vegetable serving. Prove me wrong. Nap Farm says, learn something important from you today. Need cash for LTVA pass? Thanks, Rob. Yeah, you need exact change cash or a personal check. I guess they take a cashier's check for the exact amount, but it's generally cash or check. No credit cards. Unless you buy it online. You can buy them online. I think you buy them online and you can show them something and they'll print one out for you or something. You can do that. I don't know if there's a fee for doing it online. I've never looked. You would think it would be less doing it online. But so many things, if you do it online, it's an extra $5. Why would it be? It should be less, not more, right? On my long form video author Deborah Dickinson mini meetup, that was a few years ago. I was driving my tractor trailer across westbound I-8 to Yuma. A dust devil came across the road and hit the truck, and it rocked the whole truck. That was because in that video that I saw well, I called him a little mini tornado, but people corrected me and said it's called a dust devil. I think mechanically it's the same as a tornado. It's just really, really small. And I saw it ahead of me, and I was like, gee, I don't know whether you can see it on the camera. And people said, yeah, you can see it. You could see it just fine. The Fork King Wanderers. There is nothing wrong with a Big Mac once in a while. See what I mean about this? I triggered something when I said that. I have to have a McRib once a year. They only have that for a limited time every November and December. I believe you can enjoy any food as long as it is in moderation. Great minds think alike, do they not? And Anna Rodriguez wrote, Rob, period. Anna, period. Ride along and check out current conditions. The long form video is, Rob, where you said it was steep, do you take your trailer through that? And I go, no, never. Never, ever. I go in my truck. There's a way to get into camp that's fairly short, and it goes through a big wash, like a little ravine, up, down, and up and over in my truck. And I would never in a million years take my trailer through that, because I would I would get stuck, and two, I would do significant damage to the trailer, and three, I would need to pay someone probably $500 to $1,000 to get me out of there. So no, don't go through deep things like that in your rig. Don't do it. Okay, I like this one. This was the positive news video from yesterday. He took mom's money and ... This raised a little curiosity. And it was about a guy that lost his mom to a bicycling accident when he was a young boy, and he inherited a bunch of money from her. And as an adult, he thought back on part of her sensibility and values was giving and concern about the community. So he came up with a unique way to use that money to give back to the community. It's a great story. On the comments video, I didn't read the comment. Ken Gray says, what a wonderful thing. I agree, Ken. Nancy Monderos on the QUARTZSITE comments video from yesterday. Well, where I am in Colorado, major winds today. And the current conditions video, Dame the First said, Big Mac is my fave. There's another one. I have never liked any other sandwich. I also love their fries. If you Google their fries, they'll kill you too. Torvy Cat. Hi, and she's a good question here. And I only answered it briefly in typing, but I'm going to say a little bit more about this. Hi, Rob. Is it better to buy a 4-season camper? I don't plan to camp in the cold, but does a 4-season camper keep the AC in better, and because they have a covered bottom side, keep rodents out? And I said, if the price wasn't too much, I would do the 4-season. Better insulation is good for hot and cold, by the way. And Torricat says, yeah, that's what I thought, but I never thought about the noise. I have to sleep with no noise or light. I think it would be worth it then. Well, all that's good. Let me say this. There is no industry standard or truth meter for the definition of 4-season camper. It might not be exactly what you think it is. So I would really look into, what does that mean? Tell me what the features are and where these, show me, if like you're at a dealer, show it to me. And probably the dealer, they may not even be able to do that. Do research on what 4-season means in the rig that you're buying. And mine doesn't say 4 seasons. It says comfort package or something. So there's a little extra insulation in my thing, and the whole bottom of the trailer is covered. right? And the furnace has a vent going into the underbelly so stuff doesn't freeze. And you have to use the onboard furnace for that. I don't go in places that freeze. It doesn't mean I'll never do that. Certainly, if there's some kind of urgent thing where I need to take my trailer and be with siblings, either in Ithaca, New York, or North Idaho, guess what? That could happen during the winter, and so I'm prepared. The advantages, though, in general for me are, as I mentioned, I'll come out to the camp and people say, "Did you hear those coyotes last night?" Or "Did you hear that loud music last night?" And I go, "No, I didn't hear anything. Nothing. Nada." Because it's pretty well insulated. Now, the exception is where I'm sitting right now. I'm in the slide out, so the insulation is not as good. But the rest of it is very good. And I'm in my bed, and I've got windows on either side of me, and they're not double pane or anything. It's good insulation. And I find insulation works pretty well too when cooling. You want that insulation cooling so the radiant heat doesn't get in as easily. So, and a lot depends on how much more are you paying for that 4-season package. So there are a lot of questions. But in terms of insulation and winterizing things, I think in general more is better. Again, not an expert. There are lots of experts out there. You can find them. Let's see. The ride along and check current conditions. Ken says, "Nice morning drive." Thank you, Ken. B Door. Hey, Rob. Just let you know I'm not the guy you was talking about, Brian. I'm an avid viewer of your channel. I'm trying to move in nomad kind of lifestyle, getting a lot of inspiration from you. I'm also an animal lover myself. I really love your demeanor and content. Thank you, and keep it going, my friend. So what he means by that is his name is screen name is B Door, Bdorr, and I thought maybe it was my friend from Idaho. His name is Brian Orr. And I was like, "Hey, is that you, Brian?" And he'd say, "No, man, I love your channel, but I'm not Brian." John Montalbano. I know, John, I've struggled with that last name more than once. It's not the first time. Hi, Rob. I'll be in QUARTZSITE next winter season. Can you tell me the names of the other places you recommend that you've gone to annually? By the way, I watch on my phone and I don't see pet hair on your clothes. Please add more to your shirt. Maybe my screen is defective. That's pretty funny. Well, there are 3 places. This is a little complicated because up until very recently, there's 3 places that I go. I'm going to high altitude, 9,000 feet in Eagle Nest, New Mexico in the summer. In the winter, QUARTZSITE. In the between times, I've been going to Pahrump, Nevada. But my between time this year, I'm going to be in Yuma, Arizona. There are lots of places you can go, man. Don't go by me, especially if you like to travel and move around, which I don't like. Yeah, I'm a nomad that doesn't like to travel. I'm a nomad that likes to travel a little bit. All right. I like to change my location every few months. There's some nomads that like to change their location every couple of weeks or every month. Some like to do it every day. It's all a matter of taste. And Danita Lamb, did I get that right? Wear that dog hair with pride. Some people will bitch about water being wet. Yeah, damn it. It really is a real problem with the wetness of water. When are they going to do something about that? We need drier water. I'm tired of wet water. I think it's pretty funny. Oh, D.D. Cornell. Good morning, Mr. Rob, Dottie, and they say Gorge. They meant George. I know what you meant. It's okay. I can read between the lines, or I can read between the letters. Here you go. Now it says Box Fan D was the older lady in red. I was so disappointed. I did this video on Deborah's meetup, and somebody said, "How come you didn't mention Box Fan D?" And I said, "Box Fan D was there. I know who that is. I've never met her in person, and I failed to recognize her in person because apparently she was there. I'm so bummed. I'm bummed. She's got an outstanding channel. She's kind of a real nomad YouTuber versus me. I'm a beginner. She's a pro. Dee Cornell. Good morning, Mr. Rob Dottie and Gorge. Oh, I already did that. Dee Cornell says in another one, I don't understand why people are so obsessed about pet hair in your clothing. Just keep it moving. It does keep coming up. Yeah, I get pet hair in my clothes. Dandy Dan. Hi, Dottie, and hi to you too, Rob. Thanks for thinking of me. There's Dottie. She's sleeping. Ken Gray is responding to a comment I made in the comment video about, can you friggin' believe the turn of the century, the millennium, was a quarter of a century ago? 25 years. And Ken says, hard to believe. Yesterday on one of my walks, I overheard some teens talking about having to learn ancient history at school all the way back to the 70s. The 1970s. Sometimes you just feel old. And the positive news on he took Mom's money and gave it away. What a kind and thoughtful man. Yes, he was. RV Life. That was Naj, by the way. RV Life says, nice and peaceful drive. Thanks. Wanda, Hope Wandering. I watch many content creators who have pets, and all of them have hair on them. You know, I don't have it up here, so I gotta have it here. Okay. So I guess we're going to be talking about pet hair for a long time, I think. Starry Road Homestead says, I saw my truck in your video. That's great when you see yourself. I've seen my truck in others' videos. And this is a good time to mention, if you see yourself, like you're not just your truck, but like your image in a store or something, and you go, I don't want that out there, send me an email. My email's in my channel description, and say, hey, this video at this timestamp, I'm this description person, I'm in there, I'd rather not be there. I'll take it out. I'll take care of it right away. Generally, if I talk to you, I'm going to be asking your permission, but if I just pass you on the street or, you know, at the Big Ten or something, I'm not going to ask your permission as I walk by you. It's like, you know, people say, hey, you know, when you go to Disney World and you take pictures of your family, do you ask for permission for all the people around in the picture? Of course you don't. But with private businesses, in generally, the distinction is not big public corporations like Walmart and stuff, but private businesses, I will ask before I film inside. And there's some national businesses, like I recently found that Dollar General does not allow filming in their stores per corporate, so I do no longer film in there. Anyway. QUARTZSITE comments. Susan B says, I always figure a little cat or dog hair will keep me that much warmer. That's funny, Naj. I enjoy all your videos. I love to see the different landscape. I feel the more I see QUARTZSITE, the better prepared I will be when I go there. Pamela Noel, thanks. Love coming along for the ride. A snowbird wannabe. Randy, I haven't heard from you in a long time, Randy. Thanks for the ride along to Dottie and George. Let's see. Randy, you were up late. That was 9 hours ago, so that would have been, if you're on East Coast time, I think you might be from California, though, so maybe that wasn't too late. A bus and a pyre. I've got a Great Pyrenees with dog hair galore. I can make a small dog each day with the dog hair floating all over the floor. Wouldn't have it any without. A bus and a pyre is a bus in short for Pyrenees. Also Tom and Zen on YouTube. I'll be at your meetup with my Pyrenees, and you can spill over into the pavilion if needed. I attended one there last year, and they have tables, etc. to use. Hey, that's great. Thank you. I need to drive by there, and I forgot there is kind of a public pavilion there. So that's a great idea. I just got to come up with a date, right? Sometime in January, maybe the same week as the RTR, maybe after I'm done, or before the RTR, before I go to do my RTR thing. I don't know. And two new ones. I've just got to ask, with all the complaints of being sick, does anyone know who is sick testing for COVID? I have no idea. I don't ask. I generally, stay 6 feet away from people outdoors that are sick. Like, Bob and I were walking. I don't have a big Cliff. That's Dennis B. Cliff Man. That norovirus is spreading across the country like wildfire. Stay healthy out there. It's a real miserable feeling. So far, I'm lucky and I haven't been sick. I talked to Bob the other day, and he's feeling much better. Everyone has an opinion about, a lot of people are getting sick. A lot of people have an opinion about it and the opinions vary as much as the people do. But I will tell you this, that every year, everyone gets sick in QUARTZSITE, and they have named it over the years the QUARTZSITE crud. I don't know what it is. Could it be COVID? Sure. Could it be norovirus? Sure. Could it be, I don't know, a million other things? I just don't know. And as far as I'm concerned, what people have, whether they get COVID tested or not, it's their own business. I generally, all my, but my big risk stuff is going in and doing errands and going into stores. Otherwise, people don't come into this space at all. I don't have guests in here. It's too small. And if I have guests, we do it outside. So anyway, what else? I don't think anything else. It is now 6:19. It's still too dark outside to take Dottie. And Dottie doesn't look ready to go for a walk, do you, Dottie? You're not even ready for breakfast, are you? Dottie, dog. Puppy. Dottie. I got her to look up. All right. Well, this is it. The last day of 2024. When I do my comment video tomorrow, it's going to be 2025. So, did I tell you what today's videos are? Well, you got a hint of one. The two comments on one of them. That was Bob, Rob, Dottie, and Little Buddy. And it's Kathleen's partner, Bob, and I, and Kathleen's dog. Kathleen, she was really sick. She was inside. So Bob and I and Little Buddy, her dog, and Dottie, we went for a walk in the desert, and we had a nice little chat that went on for almost 40 minutes. And a couple of people that saw this video before I published it they were like, oh, it's so artistic, because basically, and I didn't mean it to be like this, but basically the camera is sitting on my chest, and because the sun's behind us most of the time, and it's casting a super long shadow of Bob and I, and long shadows of both the little dogs, and it looks sort of artistic or something. It was not intentional. Let's see, it's been out there for 30 minutes, and 75 views. It's sort of mediocre performance, so it's not going to be a big video for me. And I thought long and hard about, what do I do for the last positive news video of the year? And do I find something that's really particularly striking and heartwarming and emotional? And I decided, no. I found an article in CNN about the things that have gone down in price this year. And I thought, focus in on something a few things that cost less, is definitely good news, and it's a good way to start to end the year. And I found 11 things that have from very significant price decreases to kind of okay price. A decrease is a decrease, right? All the way from a 16% decrease for the first one, and all the way down to like a 2.5 or so, or 2.6% decrease. But they're things that most of us buy. So it doesn't make up for anything, but it's a piece of good news. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. Take care, and I appreciate you watching these videos. Bye.